Thousands of rockets fired at Israel. That is not cheap, all adding up for Hamas. It's designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. and EU. That means they can freeze Hamas's assets and aid can be blocked. So where does Hamas get its money? It's a patchwork of taxes on Gaza's commerce, money from Iran and other countries, and even crypto.
It has really perfected the art of taxing, some might say extorting, the Palestinian population.
Hamas took over the government in Gaza back in 2007, now taxing salaries, aid, imports, and other economic activity there.
And it probably adds up to somewhere between 300 something to 400, maybe $450 million a year. It has become by far Hamas's biggest source of income.
And Israel has accused Hamas of diverting funds meant for humanitarian aid to finance its military operations. U.S. officials also worried.
We share Israel's concern that Hamas may seize or destroy aid entering Gaza or otherwise preventing it from reaching the people who need it.
Another major source of funding? Iran. The U.S. Department of State says Iran gives up to $100 million a year to Hamas and other organizations it calls Palestinian terrorist groups.
Iran has been a state sponsor backing Hamas since its inception in the late 1987.
Iran says it didn't plan Hamas's latest attack, but cheering on the results. Officials meeting over the weekend and, quote, agreed to continue cooperation. Hamas also relies on shell companies. Last year, the U.S. Treasury Department sanctioned a Hamas official and broad financial network holding assets worth more than $500 million. These companies operating internationally in Sudan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and the United Arab Emirates. A Hamas spokesman responded to those charges last year, saying, quote, the U.S. allegations are incorrect, siding with the Israeli occupation and spreading its false allegations. The group also dabbling in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to fundraise and to move money, which Chainalysis says they track.
The militant wing of Hamas solicit donations via cryptocurrency. On their website,
Israel's police saying they recently froze cryptocurrency accounts used by Hamas, adding they worked with British police to freeze a Barclays account meant to deposit donation funds.
We can see every single donor that sent funds to that campaign.
Crypto donations slowing after Hamas announced earlier this year it didn't want to risk its donors getting prosecuted. Time will tell how Hamas will finance its ongoing fight. One thing we know for sure, it's already coming at a high cost.
Stephen, we talked earlier about people in Gaza who are in this desperate situation. I'm talking about innocent civilians here. There are challenges that some groups are facing to make sure that help to those people gets into the right hands.
Yeah, they certainly are, Hallie. And this is not unusual for the UN. There are many places where there's a challenge to get aid to the people who actually need it. The United Nations using planes, trucks, even drones to try to get that aid to people. They have 17,000 workers in Gaza and the West Bank to try to help with this, but it is not perfect. In fact, just last year, an Israeli court sentenced a Gaza aid worker to prison accused of diverting millions of funds to Hamas. And in this crisis right now, the UN's agency at work here, UNRWA, they've clarified a tweet saying that there's been no diverted aid. They had to clarify because there was word that aid had been diverted. Of course, a huge concern for people offering that aid. As we heard earlier from Secretary Blinken, this is something the U.S. is watching. And he cautioned Hamas, saying that if this aid is diverted away from civilians or taken by Hamas, that there will be a way to stop it. Hallie?
Stephen Romo, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.